Good morning, Ra.
సార్ గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టాను సార్ ఒకసారి మెసేజ్. కొంచెం నాకు గ్రూప్ అడ్మిన్ గా లేను కదా సార్, యాక్సెస్ లేదు, కొంచెం నాకు పెట్టడానికి కావట్లేదు. సార్ హలో హలో సార్.
Yes. Good morning to everyone. Yesterday,
Good morning, sir.
Yesterday we discussed an apology for poetry. It is an essay written by Sir Philip Sidney. This lesson he wrote what we call whatever allegations made against poetry by Stephen Goosen in his work School of Abuse. Just I will give brief view about this work, whatever I said just now. I have a problem here. Yes. Yesterday we discussed all these things regarding this work, where he was born, okay, what kind of what we call work he has done, as well as when did the work was written, when it was published. Okay, according to Sidney, poetry is superior to philosophy as well as history and law as well as science. In the law, he says that poetry is an art of imitation and its chief function is to teach and delight. మనం నిన్న ఏమని చదువుకున్నాము, పోయిటరీ ఈజ్ అన్ ఆర్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇమిటేషన్ అంటే తను ఏమంటా అంటే పోయిటరీ అనేది ఇమిటేషన్ అని చెప్పాడు. యాక్చువల్గా నిన్న మనం చదువుకున్నాము పోయిటరీ యొక్క మెయిన్ ఉపయోగం ఏమంటే ఇట్ టీచెస్ అస్ అండ్ డిలైట్స్, అంటే మనకు నాలెడ్జ్ని టీచ్ చేస్తుంది యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ డిలైట్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. మనం వెన్ వీ రీడ్ పోయిటరీ you learn something and as well as you feel delight. Okay, here imitation means good morning Ra. Voice is clear to you, Naresh?
Clear sir.
Picture what I am saying is the screen is also clear to you?
Clear sir.
Okay. Yeah, he says that poetry is an art of imitation. Its chief function is to teach and delight. Imitation does not mean mere copying or reproduction of facts. It means a re-representing or transmuting of the real and actual. Okay, he says that what we call imitation means అంటే ఇమిటేట్ చేయడం అంటాం కదా, మనం ఎవరైనా యాక్షన్ ఇమిటేట్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం, వాళ్ళని ఇమిటేట్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటాం కదా, బట్ ఇట్ డస్ ఇట్ డిఫరెంట్లీ, రీ-రెప్రజెంటింగ్ ఆర్ ట్రాన్స్మ్యూటింగ్ ద రియల్ అండ్ యాక్షన్. రియల్ని యాక్చువాలిటీ మిక్స్ చేసి, ఓకే, ఇట్ గివ్స్ as a new kind of thing actually, and sometimes creating something entirely new actually. Okay, he has given definition of poetry and what is the main aim of this poetry. Already yesterday we learned all these things. What is the significance of the work, An Apology for Poetry? This is the only work published during Renaissance. Before this Renaissance, we could not find any kind of critical work in English literature. So this is the first literary work published in English literature. Okay. Yesterday we had discourse of analogy, apology. Yesterday we discussed all these things. Yeah. Yesterday I also learned the word poet comes from the Greek word. Okay. Meaning is to make. Poet is a maker, according to what we call a Greek word meaning. Also, we learned Roman word, what we call Bates. Yes, here also the ancient Romans paid high reverence to the poet by calling him Bates, which means diviner, prophet, or foreseer. Yesterday we discussed this one also. The etymological origin of Greek word poet is poieni. This means to make. Hence, the Greek honored the poet as a maker or creator. And the Bates also honored the poet by calling him Bates as a diviner or prophet. Okay. Now, the nature and function of poetry. Yesterday I told you what is the nature of poetry. Poetry imitates. Okay. What is the function of poetry is to teach and delight. Okay. The nature of poetry is to create something new, to re-represent the world. All these are the things we learned yesterday. The nature of poetry. Yeah, there are three kinds of poetry. Yesterday also we discussed this one. What are the religious poetry, philosophical poetry, and poetry as an imaginative treatment of life and nature. He calls attention to the third. Yeah, he emphasized the last type of one because he is calling all of them as Bates. Yeah, they pay. Yeah, they most properly do imitate to teach and delight, and to imitate borrow nothing of what is, what has been or what shall be. He did not brought what is, what we call what I am saying is to imitate, borrow nothing of what is, has been or shall be, but range only with learned dissection into the divine consideration of what may be, what should be. పోయిటరీ అనేది మనకి ఏం టీచ్ చేస్తుందంటే ఏ విధంగా ఉండాలా, ఓకే, అది మాత్రమే టీచ్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. ఎట్లా ఉందని కాదు, ఏ విధంగా ఉండాలనేది మాత్రమే టీచ్ చేస్తుంది పోయిటరీ మనకు. ఎస్, yesterday I stopped here, I think. Yeah, we have various genres in poetry itself. Poetry lo manaku chaala categories unnai manaku. In poetry itself we have many kind of what we call divisions, various subdivisions of the third kind of poetry. Poetry may be inventions. Yeah, most of the poets they use verse form for poetry actually. Poetical inventions. All the poets, చాలా మంది poets ఏం చేస్తారంటే వర్స్ ఫామ్ అంటే పద్యాలు అంటాం కదా మనము, దాన్ని ఏమంటామంటే వర్డ్స్ ఫామ్ అని కూడా అంటాం అనమాట. ఓకే, దే యూజ్ దిస్ వర్డ్ poetry since there have been many most excellent poets that never versified. ఇక్కడ ఏమంటున్నారంటే ఆ రైమ్ అని కానీ మీటర్ అని కానీ ఇవన్నీ వచ్చేసి ఆర్నమెంట్స్ అనిపిస్తుంది, బట్ ద నేచర్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్. ఏమంటారంటే ఆ వర్స్ అనేది మీటర్ అయినా రైమ్ అయినా ఇవన్నీ వచ్చేసి ఆర్నమెంటల్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, దీస్ ఆర్ నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఫర్ ఒరిజినల్ పోయిటరీ. దిస్ సేస్ దట్. యా, నౌ swam many versifiers that need never answer to the name of poets. Superiority of poetry to philosophy and history. Yeah, he says already we discussed this one. Poetry is superior to philosophy in the sense that it has the mover to move and to give incentives for virtuous action. Always poetry motivates for virtuous actions. It presents moral lessons in very attractive form. Things which in themselves are horrible and Poet is therefore the monarch of all sciences. Here what the author is saying, here Sydney is saying, think ఉన్నటువంటి cruel battles కూడా it presents in what we call delightful in poetic imitation. ఓకే, అగ్లీ ఉన్న వాటిని కూడా ప్లెజెంట్ గా ప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుంది ఏంది పోయట్రీ. The monarch of all sciences. He says that poet is the monarch of king. Monarch means nothing but king of all sciences. Different what we call categories of poetry. The pastoral poetry treats of beauty of the simple life and sometimes of the miseries of the people under hard lords. Look at this one. We have pastoral poetry అనే ఒక కేటగిరీ ఉంది. Pastoral poetry అంటే ఏమి? It treats of the beauty of the simple life and sometimes of the miseries of the people. Yes, miseries of the people under hard lords. Elegiac poetry deals with the weakness of mankind and wretchedness of the world. It should evoke pity rather than blame. Yes, elegiac poetry deals with the weakness of mankind. Okay, weakness of mankind. Okay, ఇట్లా ఏమంటామంటే we feel something what we call unhappy because of we are not having something actually. Okay, ఏమంటామంటే elegiac poetry deals with the weakness of mankind and wretchedness of the world. What we call elegy evokes pity. అంటే మనం ఏమంటాం, పిటి అంటే ఏమంటామంటే జాలి క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ బ్లేమింగ్, బ్లేమ్ చేయడం కన్నా జాలిని క్రియేట్ చేస్తూ ఉంది. వాట్ ఈస్ ఎల్జీ? ఎస్, satiric poetry laughs at folly and iambic poetry tries to unmask villainy. ఓకే, satiric poetry laughs at folly. మనం ఏదన్నా తప్పు చేసాం అనుకో, do not deserve to be condemned. Our life presented in a ridiculous manner. కామెడీ ఏమంటే, కామెడీ అనేది ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఇట్ వాట్ కాల్ ఇట్ ఇమిటేషన్ ఆఫ్ కామన్ ఎర్రర్స్. అంటే హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ వాట్ కాల్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ అంటే వీళ్ళు మనం చాలా ఎర్రర్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం అన్నమాట. The greatest wounds in our hearts. Greatest wounds in our heart. Okay, మనలో ఉన్న బాధలన్నిటిని it presents. Teaches the uncertainty of the world. Uncertainty of the world. World is not stability. World doesn't have any kind of stability. It is volatile అంటాం అన్నమాట. It presents that what call uncertainty of the world. Nobody can resist the sweet violence of a tragedy. Yeah, anybody, all people like violence in tragedy actually. The lyric which gives moral percepts and shows to the heavens in singing the praises of Almighty cannot be displeasing. Yeah, the lyric అనే గురించి చెప్తున్నాను అనమాట. Lyric which gives moral percepts and shows to the heavens in singing the praise of the Almighty. ఆల్మైటీ అంటే ఎవరు? దేవుడు అనమాట. దేవుడిని ప్రైజ్ చేస్తూ ఈ లిరిక్స్ అనేవి ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, కెనాట్ బి డిస్ప్లీజ్డ్, ఇట్ కెనాట్ బి డిస్ప్లీజ్డ్ బై ఆథర్ అనమాట. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah, somebody muted. What we call? Yes. The lyric which gives moral percepts and soars to the heavens in singing the praises of Almighty cannot be displeased. Nor can the epic or heroic అనేది heroic epic కానీ heroic. What he says, nor can the epic or heroic poetry be disliked. Okay, poetry ni కానీ whatever heroic poetry ni epic ni మనం డిస్లైక్ చేయలేము, ఎందుకంటే it inculcates virtue. Okay, it makes people to be true to the highest degree by portraying heroic and moral goodness in the most effective manner. Sidney asserts that the heroically is not only a kind but best and most accomplished kind of poetry. Yeah, he prizes heroic poetry. No, main objections brought against poetry by its enemies. ఏం అలిగేషన్స్, ఏ విధంగా పోయిటరీని వ్యతిరేకించారు? యాక్చువల్లీ ముందే స్టార్టింగ్ లోనే చెప్పాను, స్కూల్ ఆఫ్ అబ్యూస్ అనేది రిటర్న్ బై స్టీఫెన్ గూసన్ అనే అతను రాశాడు. అతను ఏమని చెప్పాడు? పోయిటరీ మీద చార్జెస్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గుడ్ ఫర్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ అని చెప్పాడు అనమాట యాక్చువల్లీ. బట్ వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్ అలిగేషన్స్? ఏమని చెప్పాడు అతను? మెయిన్ అబ్జెక్షన్స్ బ్రాట్ అగైనెస్ట్ పోయిటరీ బై ఇట్స్ ఎనిమీస్. A common complaint against poetry is that it is bound up with rhyming and versing. Okay, poetry lo rhyme anedi verse anedi lekapothe it doesn't look like a poetry. But here the author says, but verse is not essential for poetry. ikkada mana Sidney emani cheptadante, verse is not essential for poetry. verse anedi padyam anedi ante what we call meter and rhyme anedi అవసరం లేదని చెప్తాడు అనమాట. వర్స్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎసెన్షియల్ ఫర్ పోయట్రీ. వన్ మే బి ఎ పోయట్ వితౌట్ వర్సింగ్ అండ్ ఎ వర్సిఫైర్ వితౌట్ పోయట్రీ. యా, దెర్ ఆర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ పోయమ్స్ ఆర్ ఎగ్జిస్టెడ్ వితౌట్ వర్స్. ఓకే, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద పోయట్స్ ఆర్ రైటింగ్ వితౌట్ ఎనీ వర్స్. ఓకే, యా, హీ సేస్ దట్ వర్స్ ఈజ్ యూజ్డ్ ఫర్ కన్వీనియన్స్. హీ సేస్ దట్ convenience we are using verse actually. It produces verbal harmony and lends itself easily to memorizing. Why we are using this verse form? It produces verbal harmony. For verbal harmony we use words, as well as it lends itself easily to memorizing. Yeah, it lends itself easily to memorizing. Memorize cheyadaniki konni lines manaku attractive ga words lo raste we are able to remember some words anamata easily. That's why we use words. It is the only fit speech for music. It adds to words self quality. Yeah, it is the only fit speech for music. Yeah, it is very close to music. It adds to words a sensuous and emotional quality. Yeah, it adds four chief objections to poetry. There are some more serious objections to poetry, namely that there being many other more fruitful knowledge, a man might better spend his time in them than this. First charge ఏమంటే ఇక్కడ మ్యాన్ అనేవాడు ఈ పోయిటరీ మీద టైం వేస్ట్ చేయకుండా వేరే దాని మీద he can spend time అనమాట. అది ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్. that there being many other more fruitful knowledge. ఈ పోయిటరీ మీద మన నాలెడ్జ్ అంతా వేస్ట్ చేసే బదులు వేరే దానికి వేరే సబ్జెక్ట్లు ఏమన్నా కానీ తీసి వీ కెన్ రీడ్ దెమ్ అని చెప్తాడు అనమాట. Second one, that is the mother of lies. Second point అంటే పోయిటరీ అని మదర్ ఆఫ్ లైస్. ఓకే, అబద్ధాలకు పుట్టినిల్లు అంటారు, తల్లి వంటిది అని చెప్తాడు అనమాట. ఎవరు? స్టీఫెన్ గూసన్ అని. ఏమని చెప్తాడు? పోయిటరీ ఈజ్ ద మదర్ ఆఫ్ లైస్, దట్ ఇట్ చేస్తుందంటే ఇది అబ్యూజ్ ని ఇన్ఫ్యూజ్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. ఇట్ ఎంకరేజెస్, ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ సేస్ దట్ ఇట్ ఎంకరేజెస్ అబ్యూజ్ హిజ్ ఐడియల్ రిపబ్లిక్. ప్లేటో అనే అతను, హీఈస్ అ ఫిలాసఫర్, గ్రేట్ ఫిలాసఫర్ as well as poet writer. He banished poets from his what we call రిపబ్లిక్ అనే ఒక వర్డ్ ఉందన్నమాట. దాని నుంచి he banished poets from this republic. Replies to the objections. Now our author Sir Philip Sidney gives replies to all allegations. Okay, there are 4 allegations. One is it is waste of time spending time on poetry. You can shift to other subjects. Second one is poetry is mother of all lies. Okay. Third one is Plato nurse. It is that means it is what we call abuse. ఏమంటాము ఇక్కడ? That it is the nurse of abuse, infecting us with many desires. Fourth one is Plato had banished poets from his. Sidney replies to all these 4 allegations. Sidney dismisses the first charge by saying that it is already established that no learning is so good as that which reach and move to virtue, and that none can both teach and move thereto so much as poetry. ఇక్కడ ఏమని చేస్తుందంటే, can observe that no learning is so good as that which reach and move to virtue. ఏ లర్నింగ్ అయినా సరే, ఏ దాన్ని చదువుకున్నా సరే, ఓకే, ఏమంటున్నాడు ఇక్కడ? దట్ ఈస్ గుడ్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ లీడ్స్ టు, నో లర్నింగ్ ఈజ్ సో గుడ్ యాజ్ దట్ విచ్ రీచ్ అండ్ మూవ్ టు వర్చ్యూ. ఏదైతే మనకు వర్చువస్ యాక్షన్ కి మోటివేట్ చేయదో అదనేది దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గుడ్ థింగ్. ఏమంటున్నాడు? దట్ నన్ కెన్ బోత్ టీచ్ అండ్ మూవ్ దేర్ టు సో మచ్ యాజ్ పోయిటరీ. ఇక్కడ ఏమంటా అంటే పోయిటరీ అనేది మాత్రమే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏబుల్ టు మేక్ మ్యాన్ మూవ్ టువర్డ్ మేక్స్ దమ్ టు డూ గుడ్ యాక్షన్స్. ఇది ఎవరు మాత్రమే చేస్తున్నారు? ఇట్ ఈస్ డన్ బై ఓన్లీ పోయిటరీ. పోయిటరీ హ్యాస్ ద కేపబిలిటీ టు టీచ్ అండ్ మూవ్ పీపుల్ టు డూ రైట్ యాక్షన్స్ అనమాట. ఓన్లీ పోయిటరీ హ్యాస్ దట్ కేపబిలిటీ. His answers to the second objection that poets are liars is that of all writers under the sun, the poet is the least liar. Whoever living in the world, under the sun means in the world. Okay, whoever living in the world, under the sun, the poet is least liar. Meeta ante poet is saying very less lies when we compare with other people. Okay, he says that the astronomer, the geometrician, the historian and others all make false statements. వీళ్ళతో పోల్చుకున్నట్టు astronomer తో కానీ, geometrician తో కానీ, historians తో కానీ, when we compare a poet, okay, he is telling only very few lies actually. These people all give false statement, but the poet nothing affirms and therefore never lie. The poet did not say strictly what to call affirmation, nothing affirms. Okay, and therefore never lie, his aim being to tell not what is or is not, but what should and what should not be. Poet's duty is not to tell what it is, okay, what it is not, but the poet always aims what should be and what should not be, what should be and what should not be. So what he presents is not fact, but fiction embodying truth of an ideal kind. Whatever he presents, that is not fact actually, but it is fiction embodying truth of an ideal kind. The third charge against poetry is that all its species are infected with the love themes and amorous conceits, which have a demoralizing effect on readers. Here the author says, The third charge, what was the third charge? It what we call it incites abuse. Okay, it encourages people think bad way. But here the author says the third charge against poetry is that all its species are infected with love things. Okay, not only poet, all other species are infected with love themes and amorous conceits, which have a demoralizing effect on readers. Okay, poetry కాదు మిగతా అన్ని కూడా ఈ వాట్ వి కాల్ అమోరస్ కన్సీట్స్ లవ్ థీమ్స్ ప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నాయి. Okay, all these having demoralizing effect. To this charge, Sidney replies that poetry does not abuse man's wit. Poetry అనేది man's knowledge, wit, wisdom ni it is not affecting, but it's man's wit, man's wisdom వచ్చేసి okay that abuse poetry. Okay, poetry అనేది man wisdom ni it does not affect, but what he is saying, man's wisdom itself it is abusing poetry. Yeah, all arts and sciences misused bad evil effect, but that did not mean that they were less valuable when rightly employed. What he says, all arts and sciences misused bad evil effects, but that did not mean that they were less valuable than rightly employed. Sidney is rather perplexed at the last charge, namely Plato's rejection of poetry. He wonders why Plato found fault with poetry. In fact, Plato warned men not against poetry but against its abuse by his contemporary poets who filled the world with wrong opinions about the gods. So Plato's objection was directed against the theological concepts. Yeah, last charge is Plato banished poets from his republic. That is the charge. He wonders why Plato found fault with poetry. Yeah, why? Yeah, here Sidney wonders why. Why Plato found fault with the poetry. Wrong opinions on the about the gods. Here, the author, he is not against poetry. Plato did not speak anything about poetry, but poets who wrote at the time, okay, they have given some wrong kind of opinions. That's why only contemporary period poets he abandoned, not poetry, that he says. So Plato's objection was directed against the theological concepts. Why is poetry not honored in England as it is elsewhere? Why has England grown so hard a stepmother to poets? Asked Sidney. Yeah. He thinks that it is so because poetry has become to be represented by base men with servile wits or to men who, however studious, are not born poets. He says that a poet no industry can make if his own genius be not carried on to it. Poetry in England from Chaucer to Sidney's own time. Sidney says that few good poems have been produced in England since Chaucer. Chaucer did not marvelously well in Troilus and Cressida. Chaucer did marvelously well in Troilus and Cressida. Spenser's The Shepherd's Calendar worth reading. English lyric poetry is scanty and poor. Love lyrics and sonnets lack genuine fire and passion. They make use of artificial diction and swelling phrases. Condition of drama. What is the condition? He discussed the condition of drama also. The state of drama is also degraded. The only redeeming tragedy is Gorboduc, which itself is a faulty work. A tragedy should be tied to the loss of poetry and not of the English language. The English language has some definite advantages. It is appreciable for its adaptability to ancient and modern systems of versification. It admits both the unrhymed quantitative systems of the ancient poetry and the rhyme peculiar to modern language. Yeah, now the conclusion of the lesson. Sydney compared more philosophical and studiously serious. The poet is better and more effective teacher than either the philosopher or historian or other accredited apostle of truth and morality. Poetry, according to Sydney, is superior to philosophy by its charm, to history by its universality, to science by its moral end, to law by its encouragement of human rather than civic goodness. Sydney deals with the usefulness of other forms of poetry also. Poetry is universal. He says that poetry is universal, the first light giver to ignorance and the first nurse. The earliest recorded or preserved utterance of any nation is a form of poetic expression alone. The poet speaks of both what is and what should be, of what is universal and what is particular. Poetry has liveliness and passion which are lacking in history and philosophy. With this, I will end my class. I want to tell one more thing. రే వినిపిస్తుందా అందరికి? హలో
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
రమేష్, మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఎల్లుండి నుంచి రేపు వరకు కూడా టీచ్మెంటే ఉంటుంది. ఎల్లుండి నుంచి మీకు గూగుల్ మీట్ ని డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. అందరూ మొత్తం కాలేజీ టీచర్స్ అంతా గూగుల్ మీటే యూజ్ చేస్తారు మాక్సిమము. ఈ రోజు రేపు మట్టుకే ఈ రెండు జరుగుతాయి. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, ఐ విల్ స్టాప్ దిస్ క్లాస్. డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్స్? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నారా?
నో డౌట్స్.
ఓకే, స్టాప్ విత్ దిస్. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.